You can go ahead.
Hello, everyone. We are Group 3, and today we'll be presenting and talking about the impact of the United States monetary policy on inflation and employment in the United States from the years 1990 all the way to 2024. So, in this presentation, next slide, we will be talking about time period analysis from 1990 to 2024. We have our sources, Federal Reserve Government.gov, and then we have definitions of the variables. We're going to be talking about monetary policy. We're going to be talking about the employment rate, inflation rate, and the federal funds rate.
These are just updated points that I got off the internet just to see where the interest rate had followed. And for one graph, it showed that the inflation rate trend from 2020 to 2024 has definitely increased, especially due to the pandemic and the population that has lost after that. Next slide.
So I'll be talking about the Great Moderation Era, which lasts from 1990 all the way to 2007. In our first section, we talk about recovery and stability, which ranged from 1990 to 1994. Following the 1990 recession, the federal cut rates aggressively. And then in 1994, Greenspan orchestrated a famous soft landing by doubling interest rates, went from 3% to 6% to preempt inflation without triggering a recession. From 1995 to the 2000s was the tech boom, which monetary policy stayed comparatively strict. During the boom, unemployment dropped to historic lows of 4%, testing the Phillips curve theory, while inflation stabilized at like 2 to 3%. From 2001 to 2007, we had crisis and cheap credit. Post 9/11 and the tech bust, rates were slashed to 1%, while this spurred employment recovery by 2004. The low rate environment fueled the housing bubble, so setting the stage for 2008. And then on the left, I have a graph just to summarize basically everything, and it shows the federal funds rate and it shows unemployment and inflation just throughout the years.
For my side, for in 2008 to 2019, the financial crisis and the recovery. In this period of time, it was defined as the Great Recession by a subprime mortgage crisis and a slow, prolonged recovery. And then the trigger that happened in 2008 to 2019 was an event through the recession that ended. And then there were still some weak spots within the recession, but it officially ended in June of 2009. Next slide. Unemployment rate and the employment rate. As of September of 2025 of this year, the employment rate has reached a 4.4%, while the employment rate has reached a 59.7%. Next slide.
All right, so my slide is like about 2022 to 2024 pandemic and high inflation. So, and the COVID-19 pandemic caused one of the sharpest economic distribution in history, like global shutdowns, supply chain failures, and workforces reduction drove inflation up equally. And in 2021 to 2022, demand recovered faster than supply, creating shortages and high prices. The Russia-Ukraine war added to energy and food inflation. The Fed raised interest rates aggressively in 2022 to 2023 to slowly inflation, the fastest rate hikes since early of 1980s. And by 2024, inflation cooled but remained above pre-pandemic levels, and living cost stayed elevated. Next slide, please. Yeah, so and the slide during this entire timeline, we also see the rise of behavior and economics. It shows that consumers and business don't always act rationally. Something seen during bubbles, panic buying, and investment booms. So this helps explain why some economic shocks created stronger reaction than predicted.
So, critical evolution of the policy and policy recommendations. Within all these years, they each had a terrible financial crisis that causes catastrophically things to happen in the world, especially with each year and how they decrease from the Great Depression, from the Great Recession to all the wars and now global pandemics. Everything has taken a hit. Everything is high price of the charts, and that's crazy how each generation experienced something catastrophically like that. This is our summary.
So with the reflection summary, what problems did you occur in completing this signature assignment? Honestly, for me, it wasn't that much of an issue. It was just that trying to really go back and like look at what each year has reflected and what actually affected them was kind of a bit like interesting because like I said, how each generation was able to experience something horrific was kind of like,
Mhm.
that's like sick to me. It's like crazy, like how from people that were born in the 80s had the recessions, the war, and now we have something like that, but not like it's not similar, but it still has the same concept as everything else had.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
like
very
oh
interesting.
yeah,
Sorry. It is very
that's
interesting.
that's all right.
It's very interesting to see the differences and similarities, especially in how our generation handles some of the stuff and how the older generation handles and continues to handle some of the stuff that still goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also reviewed the assignment instructions more carefully, reached out to resources when needed, like class note professors or online materials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. If we had more time, what would you improve and analyze and carry out while working on this assignment? Honestly, if if we all would have had a set group chat from the start, we would have been completely solid for sure.
I
Yeah,
think
of
for me,
course.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah, I think for me, or just for all of us in general, it was really hard to find a time where we could all come together like an agreed,
exactly.
especially since
Yeah.
we're all still getting to know each other. Nobody knows how every other person's schedule works. But in the end, we did make it work, which is great. But it did take some time.
Yes, but I am happy that we all came together and we got this done for sure. Yeah. All right. And these are our references. Yeah, that's a nail spot for that one. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so